Thank you for coming to the pound.
Nah, thank you for having me. I mean, this is the world famous compound.
I say tri-state, but I'll take world's famous.
This world's famous compound where a lot of magic happened, man. And when I started hearing rumors and rumblings about some things that were going on here. You know, me, man, it's great. I love to celebrate people in our culture who do things that are super creative and out of the box. So, you know, I know producers and guys who make beats, rappers and guys who make records. But when I heard you were making toys, I said, this is special. I don't know anybody from our culture, from our set, from our circle, you know, making toys. It's big, and I wanted to get more information from you. So, Charlie Grin.
Yeah, Charlie Grin. It's Grins. It's two of the boys.
Yeah, duo.
Yeah, it's a duo. You know, it's a setup. Those my little bros. It actually, man, I got a chance to. I was actually DJing in Berlin, and I got a chance to meet Chris Kong. He's a designer, sculptor, just creative to the 10th power, and he's like a person that's behind working with a lot of artists, like Ron English, Cause in the early stage, and just a couple of other brands that I can't even put out there. But some of your favorite toys out there, if you're a collector, is probably made by his company, Garage Works, and they make the sculptures and made by Monster make the toys. And we met in Berlin, and then next thing you know, he did Chris Brown toy with Ron English, and then for the Fame album. So through the years, we stayed in touch, worked on a couple projects, and I got a chance to literally take Charlie Grin as a blank canvas and design the colorway and why it connects to hip hop so big, and they let me bless me with a chance to do a set of them, more than just doing one of them.
Now, okay, so I see gold, Charlie Grin over here, and I see platinum, Charlie Grin over here. Complement each other perfectly, but it makes me think, what was the mindset that went into that? You could have had red and blue, you could have had green and yellow.
Yeah.
What was the mindset that made you choose gold and platinum and gold?
So like the one I was thinking about, it was like Charlie Brown is, you know, always been connected to hip hop, but for some reason we couldn't claim him. You know, it was like, yo, I know Charlie Brown, everybody loves Snoopy, but I was like, you know, if I could take Charlie Brown and connect him to hip hop, what's some things that I feel Charlie Brown could be, and how would he look connected to hip hop? From an artist perspective, every artist wants, when they get signed, they want to go gold first, then they go platinum. That's what they strive for. It just speaks to hip hop from a goal setting perspective with your music, and then a fashion perspective with what you wear when you're trying to get fly, and then just the reason of black. You know, growing up, a lot of cartoons was never either animals was no race, but a lot of the cartoons when we were growing up, it was never hardly no black. So you know, from the Jetsons to the Flintstones to Charlie Brown, it was just, you know, it was all white male or white female cartoon characters. And I said, you look at Charlie Brown, like hip hop, he had a squad. He came deep everywhere he went. He had a little dirty dude named Pigpen in the squad, but he never kicked him out. His squad was the first squad in cartoons that had a black person in it. When Martin Luther King got assassinated, a lady wrote a letter to Charles Schultz and was like, why does Charlie Brown have no black people in his little crew? And they created a character which was Franklin. So he was one of the first people as a cartoon character to adopt the little homie. And I was like, you know, from that time on, when I looked at his whole setup, I was like, yo, Charlie Brown's black. The way he moved, he had his little dog, you know what I mean? He had a couple shorties. He had Peppermint Patty, he had Lucy. Lucy was the hater.
Right.
She was always hating, so you know it's always a hater around. But just his whole ideology, the way he moved, he had a squad. And I was like, the black Charlie Brown, the black Charlie Grin.
But you said Pigpen was probably the scammer, right?
Oh yeah, Pigpen, you know, he was the scammer, you know, he had the cards, but he never kicked him out of the team. He stunk, you know, he was never fresh, he was never fresh. But Charlie was like, yo, come on, we good.
Nah, but you know, it's interesting, man, because I love following you on the gram and
thank you,
the compound. Instagram account because it is such a cool place, right? Where, and I hope you're not offended by this, but where I feel like I can come and nerd out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I see my favorite rappers up here too. I see Kiss up here, like, you know what I'm saying, Mos Def up here. I see Fab up here, like all of this. And it's like, I wonder if they feel the same way I feel. It's something that we don't rap about. It's something that we don't put on Front Street. But you probably have a lot of insight that a lot of your favorite rappers is into, quote unquote,
toys and art. Well, I mean, you know what's crazy? Like, I got this trick question I asked you. You're gonna get it wrong, but what was the first thing you fell in love with?
First thing I fell in love with. That was a lot of pressure. It was probably my toys.
You're the first person that really, a lot of people, especially when I asked it, when our industry was like music, or people be like, yo, sports or about bike, but it's a little like, so when people walk in here, it's a subliminal thing that really hits your cerebrum because you walk in and you feel something. And like when you was young, your parents used to have a pacifier with a toy on the end or a teddy bear that you fell asleep. So it's already connecting to you in another realm that you don't even realize it. And that's what I think when everybody come in here, it's like, yo, it takes them back to their childhood. And but it is a lot of artists that you would never think talk about it. I don't even want to put them on blast out there, but a lot of people come up here and like they're like, yo, Space Ghost was when I was little, man. Some rappers like, yo, they still in the basement. I'm gonna dig up my Star Wars drink. So you definitely on point with like a lot of artists has this as a hidden jewel.
It's funny, and even going back to Charlie Grant, like I remember as a kid, like, you know, my parents used to get me G.I. Joes and all this stuff, but they didn't get me every one that I wanted, right? So a few, and I remember I used to paint the G.I. Joes to make them the ones that I wanted that I couldn't get. Well, I remember specifically, Thundercats, I remember I had a Mum Rock.
Yeah, the Mum Rock.
So I had two of them for some reason. I think my brother had one.
He was lit,
but I looked and I was like, because I was in the comics, I'm like, I remember painting his face red, me and my man, and turned him into Red Skull, the Captain America villain. Yeah. Put a little jacket on him. But what I'm saying is we used to be, as kids, we used to remix toys out of maybe necessity. Like you couldn't get the toy that you wanted, so you made the one that you wanted. Yeah. You as an adult is making the toy
doing
that
the remix.
You want.
Yeah, I think being able to work around English and Chris Cole, it was like I knew that I could bring a hip hop element to the table of putting certain colorways on them and giving them a backstory, because like I try to connect colors to culture, and a lot of people don't look at colors to connect to culture, and that's why picking these two colors, I was like, yo, these colors are gonna be synonymous with hip hop because of the albums and because of the jewelry and just because.